Welcome to our channel on lost history and legends of the Southwest Desert. Today, we're diving into the remarkable life of William Phipps Blake, a pioneering geologist whose work shaped our understanding of the American West. Though his name may not be widely recognized today, Blake's contributions to science, exploration, and even international relations were truly extraordinary. Born in New York City in 1826, William P. Blake showed promise from an early age. He pursued his education with vigor, eventually earning his doctorate in philosophy from Yale University in 1852. Even as a young man, Blake stood out. His robust health, premature gray hair, and keen intellect made him a sought-after figure in scientific circles. But it was in 1853, at the age of 27, that Blake would embark on the journey that would define much of his legacy. As part of an Army engineering expedition led by Lieutenant R.S. Williamson, Blake found himself in Southern California, tasked with surveying potential routes for a transcontinental railroad. During a crisp autumn morning in what is now Imperial County, California, Blake stands atop Travertine Point, his eyes scanning the vast, sun-baked landscape below. Beside him, a Kawiyu Indian chief gestures towards the horizon, telling a story that would captivate the young geologist. Through an interpreter, the chief spoke of a great lake that once filled the basin before them. He described how the waters had receded, forcing his ancestors to move their villages, only to return later and overwhelm many of his people. As Blake listened, his scientific mind was already piecing together the geological puzzle before him. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest tale. Please leave a like, comment, and share. For further desert adventures, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified of new videos. If you would like to help support my channel, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. This encounter marked Blake as the first white man to examine the great below-sea-level basin with a scientist's eye. What he found was remarkable. The basin, now mostly dry, had once been an inland sea stretching 110 miles long and 34 miles wide. Blake meticulously documented evidence supporting the chief's tale. There were travertine-coated rocks along an ancient shoreline, millions of tiny marine shells in the sand. In his reports, Blake paid tribute to the indigenous people who had long inhabited the area. He named the ancient body of water Lake Cahuilla, honoring the Cahuilla people. But Blake's contributions to our understanding of this region didn't stop there. He also gave a name to the surrounding area, the Colorado Desert. This wasn't a reference to the state of Colorado, but rather to the Spanish word for red, describing the color of the desert floor, rich with silt deposited over millennia. It's important to note that Blake didn't claim to be the first to recognize the basin's history. He acknowledged earlier observations by explorers like Sebastian, Anza, and the Sonora gold seekers. Blake's work in the Colorado Desert was part of a larger mission. President Franklin Pierce, recognizing the need to connect the growing nation, had ordered the Army to find a feasible route for a railroad from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean. Blake's geological expertise was crucial to this endeavor. As the expedition moved south from San Francisco, Blake roamed freely, pick in hand, collecting specimens and making observations. His thorough work would later prove invaluable to railroad companies as they laid tracks along the very routes Blake and his colleagues had surveyed. One of Blake's key insights during this expedition was his understanding of the geological history of the basin. He concluded that it had once been an extension of the Gulf of California, cut off by massive silt deposits from the Colorado River during the glacial age. This formed a natural dike, occasionally breached by the mightiest river floods. Blake's career was marked by an incredible diversity of projects and achievements. After completing his work with the Williamson expedition, he turned his attention to the California gold fields, producing scientific reports on the mother lode. In 1857, he joined another expedition, this time with Lieutenant Edward F. Beale, surveying a wagon road across northern Arizona. This adventure included an unusual element, a herd of camels imported as an experiment by Secretary of War Jefferson Davis. While many in the party complained about the ill-tempered, smelly animals, Blake maintained his scientific focus, excitedly documenting the discovery of ancient turquoise mines once worked by the Aztecs. Blake's expertise took him far beyond the American West. In 1861, he accepted a commission as a mining engineer for the Japanese government, where he established the country's first mining college. The following year found him in Alaska, ascending the Stikine River and producing reports that would play a crucial role in the United States' decision to purchase the territory from Russia. Interestingly, Blake's name is rarely mentioned in connection with the Alaska Purchase, despite the importance of his work. This speaks to a defining characteristic of the man, his modesty and lack of self-promotion. Throughout his career, Blake seemed more interested in the work itself than in garnering personal accolades. In 1864, Blake's expertise was recognized with an appointment as professor of geology and mining at the newly established University of California. There, he organized the College of Mining and Agriculture, laying the groundwork for what would become world-renowned programs. During his time in California, Blake also turned his attention to the Yosemite Valley. He became the first to propose that the valley had been primarily shaped by erosional processes, with glaciation playing a secondary role. This was a groundbreaking idea at the time, though Blake's typically modest approach meant that his theory didn't receive the wide attention it deserved. Blake's reputation continued to grow on the international stage. He represented the Pacific Coast states as a U.S. commissioner to the Paris Exposition of 1867, later editing the State Department's reports on the commission. This began a long period of involvement with world expositions, where Blake's skillfully arranged exhibits revealed the West's great mineral resources to a global audience. His work didn't go unrecognized. In 1878, Blake received the Chevalier of the Legion of Honor decoration from France after winning the grand prize at the Paris Exposition. Yet, true to form, these accolades didn't slow him down. He returned to the American West, where his practical geological expertise was in high demand. In 1890, at an age when many might consider retirement, Blake invented a new revolving calcining furnace. This innovative spirit ran in his family. His maternal grandfather, Captain Jonathan Mix, had invented the carriage spring, while his father, Dr. William Blake of New York, was a pioneer in modern dental techniques. One of the most poignant moments in Blake's career came in 1906, when he returned to Travertine Point, the same spot where, 53 years earlier, he had heard the Cahuilla chief's story about the ancient lake. Now, 80 years old, with pure white hair and a flowing beard, Blake witnessed a new chapter in the region's history unfolding. The Colorado River, breaking through man-made levees, threatened to flood the nascent agricultural empire of the Imperial Valley. As the world's newspapers covered the dramatic efforts to stem the flow, Blake quietly provided the historical and geological context. He reviewed and expanded upon his old report, creating what was the definitive text on Imperial County's geology. From 1895 until his death in 1910, Blake made his home in Tucson, Arizona. He served as professor of geology and mining at the University of Arizona and director of the School of Mines. In 1905, he became professor emeritus and geologist of the state of Arizona. Even in his later years, Blake's enthusiasm for his work never dimmed. His bright eyes and genial smile endeared him to students and colleagues alike. Evening gatherings at his home became prized events, with the professor's face glowing as he shared his vast knowledge and experiences. William P. Blake's legacy is not one of fame or fortune, but of quiet, persistent, and groundbreaking work that shaped our understanding of the American West and beyond. His contributions span geology, mining, education, and even international relations. Yet despite his numerous achievements, Blake remained modest and focused on the work itself rather than personal glory. One of the few personal descriptions we have of Blake comes from R.W. Raymond, secretary of the American Institute of Mining Engineers, who wrote, "He told a fact as though he had only just discovered it, and had an unusual capacity for delivering an oral abstract with grace, directness, and lucidity." As we reflect on Blake's life and work, we're reminded of the countless unsung heroes whose efforts have shaped our world. William P. Blake may not be a household name, but his contributions to geology, exploration, and education have left an indelible mark on American history. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the life of William P. Blake, pioneering geologist and unsung hero of Western exploration. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and your eyes open to the wonders of the world around you. Please leave a like, comment, and share. For further desert romps, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified of new videos. If you would like to help support my channel, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Happy trails!